So at that time, you just had a blank screen, which was a GPS plotter screen. Electronic cartography was not available at that time, so it would give you just a straight line from where you are to where you wanted to go to your waypoint. Well, then along came electronic charts, which now made everybody a navigator. Now you had a visual picture to see where you were in relation to the lake itself, the body of water, see all your depth contours. So it gave you a lot of useful information, and now it made everybody a navigator. The biggest problem with electronic cartography in the early days was the cost of the cartography itself. I know years ago, to go from Maine to Florida, the electronic cartography was $2,500 just for the chips without even buying the unit. So that was a very big expense for the fishermen. But what Garmin did, they went out and started buying cartography from different agencies. They bought their own boats, survey boats, and they're surveying lakes all over the country. And we built in the cartography right from the factory. So you don't have to buy these chips. So it saved people a lot of money. Like today, our built-in inland charts, there's 17,000 lakes preloaded, 13,000 are high definition. So it made it a lot less expensive for the consumers. So all these new EcoMap products from a 4-inch up to a 9-inch have built-in cartography. Another neat feature that we added was our own ability to make your own charts. So now if there's a lake or a pond that you're going to fish on and there was no map made, you just turn on Quick Draw and start drawing your own maps. So the cartography has become a really good feature for Garmin because it comes preloaded, or you can make your own. So you're not spending extra money on chips. You're just looking on an electronic chart, seeing the different drop-offs, areas to go fishing. Like I said, it's preloaded. Depth range shading is another neat feature. Now you can shade the area that you want to see on there, say from 10 to 20 feet or 20 to 40, so you can just see at a glance that depth range and be able to look at it real quick at any time during the day. 3D views is another neat feature that they've added to their cartography. Split screens now, because of the screens being bigger, you can split the screen and show more information at the same time, either cartography or fish finding, all at the same time, one quick view. Here's our Quick Draw contours. Like I said, they added this feature last year to where you can make your own map. If you're on any body of water that there's no map, just turn it on and it'll automatically start drawing that map for you all by itself. Fill it in. The more you go around that body of water, the more it's going to fill it in. You don't have to do anything. Just turn it on and let it go. It does a great job of making cartography all by itself. Here's just showing another example of the Quick Draw. Here it drew this map right here just by out there in the lake fishing that day. It automatically draws this cartography. Here's another neat feature that we offer now in our Lakeview HD Ultra. We do offer an optional card that has now 100 survey lakes that we've actually surveyed ourselves, and it gives features like this, which showing like they took the water out of that body of water, and it gives you really clear information of what's down there.
Including Lake George.
There's one of the survey boats that Garmin has. They've got 5 of them now going around the country surveying lakes. They've been up on the St. Lawrence River. They've been up here. They go all over the country just surveying lakes to give us the best possible detail that money can buy. Now, sonar. As we know, sonar's been around since World War II. I mean, the government developed the first sonar units for tracking submerged enemy submarines during World War II. And sonar stands for Sound, Navigation, and Ranging. It's an acronym. Everybody out there, Humminbird, Lowrance, Vexilar, Markham, Garmin, we all have sonar products, and they all work exactly the same. They send out a signal, bounces off a target, reflects an echo back up, puts it on the display so you can see it. So sonar's been around for a long, long time. But as technology gets better, it's getting more and more and more refined to where now we can actually see fish moving on the screen, which we'll show you some of those shots here in just a little bit. Here's a blank screen. Right now it's showing, the surface and the bottom, nothing in between. Remember that when the boat first goes over a target, when the transducer goes over, it's going to put that information on the far right-hand side of the screen. That's your current information. The longer that goes across that screen, it's just getting farther and farther away from your boat. Here it's 5 seconds ago. Over here now it's 10 seconds ago. So remember, it's just the first quarter of an inch that's the current information. People always thought that having a bigger screen you're going to see more information, but it's not true. It's just the first quarter of an inch. The bigger, the wider the screen, the more history you're going to see. So always remember, when you're seeing it over here, that's where that target is in your cone angle at that precise moment in time. So you want to drop a bait down right onto it. As it gets across the screen, it's getting farther and farther behind you. And all sonar units work that way, everybody's. Fish show up as a target in the column of water, whatever depth they are. That's pretty basic. Everybody understands that. But one of the biggest settings that you can make on any sonar unit is gain. Gain is like the volume on a radio. If you have the volume down too low, you can't hear it. Well, it's the same thing with a sonar unit. If the gain is too low, that receiver is not going to hear those real faint echoes coming back from fish, so you're going to see nothing in between. You'll see the surface and the bottom. That's it. See, right now the gain is almost 0. As you turn the gain up, right now we're at 50%. Now you're starting to see a real good bottom image. You're starting to see fish on the bottom, some smaller targets over here. So gain is extremely important for being able to see those fish targets. I know a lot of times you'll see interference on the screen, so you want to turn the sensitivity down or the gain. Well, if you start turning that down, you're going to eliminate interference, and you're also going to eliminate the fish. So I'd rather have a little bit of noise on that screen and be able to see those fish targets than just have a perfectly clear screen showing you nothing. Now, if you get the gain too high, it saturates the receiver with noise and the whole screen goes crazy, so you know you don't want to go that high. But the gain is a really important setting. In fact, it's probably the most important setting on anybody's sonar, and I don't care who makes it. All these sonar engineers today always make the automatic settings on the low side of good, because they don't want you to see a lot of noise on the screen. You know, for the average guy just wants to turn the unit on and go out boating and fishing. He doesn't want to play with any buttons or anything. So they make sure that those gain settings are on the low side so you don't see noise. But for the guy that really wants to look for fish, remember to adjust that gain to get it up as high as you can without saturating the receiver and turning the whole screen crazy. So that's a critical setting on anybody's fish finder. And another thing you'll find out, if you're starting to turn your gain up and still not picking up any fish targets or starting to get any kind of noise at all, transducer's probably shot, because they do go bad over a period of time. Here's a real good setting where it's showing the bottom, structure on the bottom, individual fish stacked up here, perfectly set up in a medium gain. So always remember, the gain is extremely important setting. A traditional sonar, which we've known for 40, 50 years or more, uses a single frequency. It could be 50 kilohertz, 72, 192, 200 kilohertz, but it's a single frequency that sends out a single ping. Ping! Sends that signal through the water, hits a target of a different density than water, bounces an echo back up, records it on the screen. Well, that sonar has been around, like I said, since World War II. Here we go, sending out that single ping. It's going to hit these fish, bounce the echo off the fish because it's a different density than water. We'll mark it on the screen. In this case, it's going to show up pretty much like this, not separate those individual fish. And again, this is traditional sonar with a single frequency. Now, chirp technology has come around the last couple of years, more and more popular because it's now affordable. Chirp's been around for years and years, but it was mainly commercial application because of the cost. And I remember just a few years ago, a chirp transducer alone was over $4,000. They had some of these big commercial vessels that were this big. So chirp was there, but it just wasn't affordable for the average fisherman, especially the inland guy. But chirp, instead of using a single frequency, it sends out a whole band of frequencies. A long range can be low, medium, or high bandwidth, depending on if you're in freshwater or saltwater. And what that does for the fisherman, it gives you excellent target separation, far better than any traditional sonar was ever capable of doing. And now chirp is more affordable. And all of our Garmin units now, even at $299, is a chirp transducer, so you get this incredible target separation. Instead of a single pulse width like here, you got multiple, longer bandwidth, so you're going to have individual targets. Like in this case, target 1, target 2, it's going to be able to separate both of them. So chirp in itself stands for compressed, high-intensity, radiated pulse. But what it means to the fisherman, better target separation. And I'm not telling everybody to go throw the units that they have away now and go buy a chirp unit, but when you are in the market for a new product, make sure you don't buy anything except chirp, because it is that much better.
Garmin the only one that has chirp?
No, no, just about everybody has it now. You got to make sure you're getting true chirp. Some companies are only chirping 4 or 5 frequencies. In our case, our EchoMap series is chirping 85 different frequencies to give you the maximum target separation. Now here in that same scenario, we have the 2 individual fish. Now with chirp, it's going to bounce echoes off of both of those fish, so it will separate each target individually. So chirp, don't worry about what it stands for. It really does work. It's a great feature for the inland fisherman as well as the saltwater guy, and it's now affordable. Here's traditional sonar here versus chirp over here. See where it's a blob of fish here? Over here it's kind of separated as individual targets. So it does give you very good target separation. In the cases where you're fishing for perch or crappie or smaller fish, it's going to separate each individual fish so you can tell if there's a big school of fish there or just a couple fish. So chirp really is a great useful feature for the fisherman. Here's a couple more examples. Traditional versus chirp. Just better target separation. And another nice feature of chirp, you get less interference because of those multiple frequencies. You don't have near the interference problem that you do with traditional sonar. And this is just another breakthrough in technology. Like I said, traditional sonar has been around since World War II. And we've seen massive improvements over the years. And now chirp is definitely the way to go. See here how these fish are all blobbed into one mass. Over here you can see individual arches for each individual fish. And chirp does work extremely well in deep water. I don't think anybody here is going to be fishing in 17,508 feet, but it will go that deep. Now, as I said earlier, Garmin's chirp transducers have a higher bandwidth of frequencies. Our EchoMaps are 85 different frequencies. Some of our competitors are chirping 5 frequencies, and they're still calling it chirp because it's not just on one frequency, but there is a definite difference.
Does the chirp shoot through the thermal line?
Oh yeah, it'll go through it. It'll show it, but it'll go through it, but it will show it on the screen very well.
And the bottom definition is better as well.
Yes, extremely good because it's sending back so many echoes. Instead of just one, it's sending back in the EchoMaps 85 different echoes for it to get that information to show it on the screen. So it does a great job. A higher bandwidth, more power in the water. More frequencies.
Pictures of biomass, like the biomass mats on the bottom of the lake, like Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, where you'll go over zooplankton.
I don't have any pictures here, but I'll have to try and get some because it will show that.
That would be huge for the Lake Erie market.
Right.
To show the difference between the biomass and the perch schools.
Exactly. It's just, again, it's saying a higher bandwidth, more power in the water. More power in the water means more returns, so you get more information on the screen.
So is it using a higher amount of power, like watts?
No, nope. That doesn't affect it.
Okay.
In fact, chirp doesn't require as much power as what traditional sonar does because there's so many different frequencies.
So you'll have less distortion.
Yep, and less interference. The more signal returns equal chirp images that are much clearer. That's all a fisherman's got to know. It is going to give you a lot clearer signals with less interference and better target separation. Here again, it's just saying about the range of frequencies that Garmin offers, so you get better target separation, less skipping. Like some companies will go like 192 kilohertz, 215 kilohertz. Instead of going every one of them, we hit every one without skipping. So you get
The amount of chirp, is it the same frequency, 85 on all your models, or do they vary?
on our EchoMaps, they all have 85. Now, if you go into our GPS map products where you can buy optional transducers, you can get a whole array of low, medium, and high chirp, and that's used more for saltwater applications. Like if you're going to go into that real deep water, 17,000 feet, you're going to want low chirp, so the frequencies are lower to get stronger pulse widths and better returns. But for the inland guy, our EchoMaps come with 85, and it does a really good job for the inland market. Excellent, extremely clear. And again, it's like instead of just a single ping, it'd be like hitting the keyboard on a piano, hitting every one of those notes all the way down through, sending that whole signal down through the water. So it does a really good job of giving great target separation, less interference, better depth penetration. They stop. Our transducers are designed to stop ringing faster, so with shorter pulse widths, so you end up with less blind spots near the surface. It's like ringing a fine wine glass, bing, or like a red Solo cup thud. Now ours will turn on and turn off instantly, so you eliminate that real massive amount of surface clutter. And in freshwater, if you're fishing in shallow water, you might have nothing but surface clutter down for 20 feet, and you're going to miss a lot of the shallower targets. So that's also really important to make sure that transducer turns on or turns off real fast to eliminate all that noise at the surface. It's like right here is a competitive model that doesn't turn off fast versus ours where it eliminates all that surface clutter.
Recognize that.
Again, it's just showing some examples. Here's a unit that's trying to chirp, and here's when it actually is showing all those individual targets right there. Good structure here, and individual fish here. Now, another new breakthrough that we all know, Humminbird started the first one with down view, and this technology now is like giving you underwater pictures of what's down there. I mean, years ago, I would have never dreamed this would ever be possible. And after seeing this on the water, it is absolutely mind-boggling how much information it shows you. Right here is a sunken ship. You can see the superstructure sticking up, school of bait up here, and there it is on down view. I mean, it gives you, here it is on traditional sonar, and here it is on down view. And it's almost like taking a picture of what's down there. So if you're looking for structure, any type of underwater targets, the down view is amazing the amount of information it shows. And again, it's affordable. I mean, we sell down view products now for $179. And years ago, I mean, you couldn't even come close to that. And here, I mean, it'd be hard to tell for sure if this was showing a massive school of bait or is it actual structure like it's showing here. Here's the actual ship itself before it was sunk, and there it is after it was sunk. So it's showing you a really good picture, underwater picture in 164 feet of water. So downview is another great new breakthrough in technology that, you know, a fisherman just shouldn't be without it now because it's affordable.
Does it stay real clear in shallower water?
Yeah.
50 foot and up?
Yep. It does. It's amazing. Here it's showing some weeds sticking up off the bottom, 41.5 feet. Here we just have a split screen showing the chart plotter on one side and the sonar on the other with down view. Now, side view is another fantastic breakthrough, which, again, Humminbirds had the first side view, I'm sure, and Lowrance had the first down view. But now with side view, instead of just getting that beautiful picture under your boat, now you can go out to the sides of your boat and see out, like ours will go out as far as 500 feet right or left. So if you're looking for targets out there, this side view is amazing how much information it shows. And again, they're now affordable. You know, we have our Striker 7 side view unit that retails for $499. Transducer and everything in the box, and it's as clear as what you're going to see here.
The side view is great for bass fishermen. The down view is great for guys that troll.
Yes, for sure.
It's a little different application.
I mean, in this case right here is these pipes going in the water. This is in a lake out in Oklahoma. Now right there it shows it on side view. You can see the individual pipes and even the bands that hold them together. So I mean, side view shows unbelievable details, like taking a picture out there. If you're looking for underwater structure, you know, sunken reefs, boats, rock piles, I mean, it's just unreal how well it shows this information. It's going to let you get to it a whole lot faster than trying to go back and forth with just your small traditional type transducer. Now this is the Weiss Ferry Bridge that was real famous by Lake Murray. That's the bridge before it was sunk. Well, there's the bridge on side view or down view, and here it is on side view. I mean, it shows amazing detail, and again, it's affordable. I mean, this isn't another gimmick that some companies come up with. This is the real thing. Okay, this is an amphitheater in Beaver Lake. Now look at this was before they built the lake. Look at the amount of detail here on side view. I mean, showing all this type of information. It's really incredible. So it really does show you clear pictures of underwater structure. And for structure fishermen, it just saves you so much time. It's going to put you right on. There's no guesswork. You can see it on the screen as plain as the naked eye. Here again, some more of that. See the tops of it here. This is on down view. There it is on traditional sonar. Here it is on side view, showing it here and over here. So it does give amazing detail at prices that people can afford. I remember when a 2330 flasher sold for $399. Now you can get a side view unit with everything on it for $499, including GPS. Here's just a split screen showing some different features. Quick draw, traditional sonar. Here's a side view. This was a boat. I was on this boat when we did this. This was down in Florida. Even in 15.5 feet of water, it's showing the whole outline of a sunken boat there. Some stuff that was laying on the deck, even in that shallow water, because a lot of fishermen think the side view doesn't work in shallow water. Well, here we're in 15 feet, and it's showing this boat to the left side of the boat. Here it is going the other side. It's on the right side. It's just showing the split screen, traditional down view and side view. All this information is available on one screen. Right there was some dolphins that went by us. There's a single over there. See the shadow of it? It shows amazing information. 16 feet of water. Just a more split screen showing some weeds sticking up off the bottom, some weeds here and here. Now, the next latest breakthrough that we came out with 2 years ago was Panoptic. This is absolutely unbelievable technology. Now this is real time. It's like having a video camera down there, but it's a transducer. And then this is just showing roughly how it works. It's got over 100 elements in that transducer, all firing simultaneously. So they're all sending out signals, returning signals as fast as, in nanoseconds. So it gives you actual real-time information. Here it is again. You can steer those beams electronically fore and aft, left and right.
When's the price on that going to come down a little bit? Because those transducers are like $1,000.
Yeah, right now it's $999 for the one that goes in a trolling motor. That's still the problem is cost, but they are working on getting that price down. It's because there's so many elements in there that keeps the price up, but they're working diligently to get the price down, and I feel pretty confident next year or two you'll see it down to where it's more affordable.
Yeah.
Like I say, it is multi-beam phased array. We bought a company years ago, Impulse, that they had phased array technology, and we bought that company and worked with the owner to be able to develop this new Panoptic. Here it is steering that beam, just showing structure like a 3D image of the bottom. Again, it's showing targets on the bottom at different colors or for different depths, which correlate to the scale over here.
Will that shoot through like weeds?
Not real well. You get too much interference there. Now here is showing some fish here and here. But what I'm going to do now is switch this over and show you some real shots that Chris is going to be able to tell you he did on what lake were you on, Chris?
I fish everywhere. Almost everywhere. Rivers, lakes, doesn't matter.
Okay.
Well, while he's setting that up, give you a little insight. You're going to see something really revolutionary. Probably first time ever. It's going to blow your socks off. I'll give you a little background on me and why I feel that way. So I ran fishing boats full time out of New York City for a living. So living in New York City, Jersey area.
Which one do you want to do first?
Microphone, apparently.
Oh.
Think about how much you have to be on the water to have a house. A lot. Pay the taxes. So I was fortunate that I built a nice business, and I think I had like 2,000 or 2,500 days on the water in a 15-year period before I decided to just kind of get out. So it gave me a lot of time on the water in a lot of different scenarios. My passion at heart is vertical jigging lake trout and walleye and muskies, but I ran tuna boats and striped bass boats and all that other kind of stuff. When I left and got out, I went to Navionics, and that's where I really I thought I understood electronics being in saltwater fishing. I didn't know anything until I started playing every day with Lowrance, Humminbird, all the different units except yours. I never played with Garmin. So I had access to a lot of stuff, fished a lot of stuff, been around a lot of stuff, and I came across this Panoptics. I bought it full retail when I didn't have to, well, I didn't know you guys, but I bought it full retail because I saw the value of it. So I'll get into this a second. I'll play this in a minute. The reason I got to this point is because I vertical jigged live herring to go after walleye, muskies, whatever I'm targeting. And in Jersey, you can buy live herring until a certain date. After that certain date, I would just go and catch my own bait. When I saw my buddy with this unit, and in 30 feet of water, I could see 6 hooks on a sabiki rig and watching herring come up and bite it, I went out the next day and bought this. Actually, a couple days, because I had to figure out which unit I needed, knowing that I already had a $6,000 system on my boat. I didn't need it. I didn't need more. So someone said, you know, it's $1,000. I actually bought the transducer for the transom, which is actually a little bit more. And I'll explain why it's beneficial, what you're looking at here, and how I've been able to use it in a number of capacities. One, on my jet boat in the river. I'm going to convert it over to ice fishing because it looks like I'm going to get ice in Jersey this year. And really what you're going to see. So you're going to see a bunch of stuff here. I'll explain it all. But that's kind of cool, isn't it? Have you guys seen anything like this before? No, I don't think really too many people have. So what you have here, in essence, is 2D sonar. That's what it typically looks like on any of our units. What you have here, and actually if you want to start this over, Mark, I'll explain everything. And so start it, and then I'll talk you guys through this. And I have a couple videos to show you. So I think I showed Jeff, I showed you guys this, I think like a year ago. This is all like a year and a half ago. And I just stopped taking video because
Not my phone.
it was, yeah, I just stopped taking it because I don't know, it's just how much more do you need? Hit pause button, maybe? Is it all the way back? Well, let's just let it go through. So what I do now for a living, and this is actually plays kind of interesting in this. I got picked up. I do a lot. The company I work for owns a lot of fishing tackle companies, and one's Berkeley. And Berkeley is all about science. They want data before they just go make something. They're not going to like make like UV glow lure because it's popular. So what you're watching here is a smallmouth bass chasing a drop shot rig. That bottom piece is the lead, and that top piece is the live herring. I don't want a bass to eat my live herring because some days you only catch 5, and I want my walleye. So we know that this is a bass because 1, we caught one just prior, but 2, because of how aggressive it is. Anybody have any questions on what they see there? Any coloration, something? Anybody see anything that's like weird? Pink. Pink is, and this is my language, not a Garmin language, because I don't have any affiliations with Garmin. Pink is current flow. Or in the case of the fish, it's the hydraulics and all the water. I don't know the technical lingo, but it's all the water flow off the back of the fish. So you can see on that top one, go up top, you can see that the fish are traveling this way. So for me at Berkeley, when we come out with a lure, like those Johnny Darters for Johnson, it comes back to the thin fisher. We would go into a picture I'm going to show you a little bit later, and we would work lures and all the fish would take off. Then we take the Johnny Darter, which we designed specifically as a ice fishing bait, and we would play with the colors. We came out with purple because we noticed that in super cold water, the lake trout would gravitate towards that purple. That's why you see purple in that box up there that's being given away. Because this system showed me that in New Jersey, where I'm fishing lake trout, they'll actually come over to it. And I don't think it's the lure because you can go with different colors and they're just neutral. They don't want to hit it. And that coloration, for whatever reason, maybe it matches the herring in the lake, they come over and they look at it. Now it's my job to try to get them. So it's kind of interesting how this technology is helping us over at this side of Berkeley. The only people at Berkeley that know about this, it's actually Johnson. It's one of the brand managers. He went out and bought a system for his boat out where they do all their field testing so that we can start to figure it out. And it's in its infancy. So again, it's a smallmouth bass chasing it around. Those are other fish up top. Could be bait, could be crappies, who knows. We're in 15 foot of water. Pretty cool, isn't it? That made me go out and buy a $1,500 transducer. So, do you want to go to the next video?
Okay.
There's another video you got to deal with. It's from my buddy's boat and how it got inverted and how I uninverted. I don't know. So just imagine
Which one?
looking upside down.
180?
I believe so. Just imagine yourself. No, it's the same one. Maybe I didn't dump it over.
Lakers.
Try a 170. That's it. So imagine yourself upside down. This is really cool because here it is. You're going to see the smallmouth bass jump out. There it is. And here it is on his Panoptics going down. There's another fish following it. It's just revolutionary. I mean, I don't care what anyone says. Nobody is designing this out there.
It's
So
real time. It's like a video.
it's real time. So to come back to your question on the $1,000, you know, is this going out on the air? Well, my wife will kill me anyway. She doesn't know I paid full retail for this. She'd be like, why? You got a whole brand new Humminbird system on your boat. She doesn't fathom it. So, of course, I'm not going to go buy another one. So I went and I found that you can buy a transducer plate or a spare bracket for like 30 bucks. And I went out and put it on my jet boat because I river walleye fish all winter long. And last weekend is when I figured it out. So and I'm just telling you so that you can see whether the investment's right for you or not, depending upon how you guys fish. And I will bring it to ice fishing in a second. So the first weekend I went out 2 weekends ago, the transducer is fairly large. It's about this big. I say it's the size of an index card, but it's kind of thick. And it was shooting water straight up in the air off my jet boat. And that's a problem in the winter because if anyone's ever run jet boats, you have a throttle that goes up through a little channel. And if that freezes, you're kind of stuck. You're really stuck. So I couldn't have that happen. So I took the bracket and I built a shield. I just jerry-rigged something. I should have taken pictures. I didn't know I'd see you here, but so I jerry-rigged it, went out last weekend, and all the water's staying low. It's staying away from the motor and all the drive parts, so I'm good. I also came and I took that transducer, instead of being vertical like I would be in a lake, I put it on a 45-degree angle. And then inside the boat, he was talking about being able to adjust things. I figured out that I could adjust it. I actually did it 20 degrees aft. And now, when I'm anchored in that river fishing walleye with jigs, we used like just, I don't know, quarter-ounce lead head jigs with tails and stuff, minnows. I can see now, I'm guessing, and I'm guessing this because we did catch a muskie. It came right to the surface when I jacked him or hit him. And it was about 8 feet behind the boat. So now I'm anchored in the river, and I didn't dump the picture onto here, but I could see that fish on the bottom, the pink trail, pink color is critical. I could see that coming off, and I could see the red blob. And I mean, I have the text on my phone. My buddy's like, how's it working? How's it working? I'm like, he goes, can you see any fish? And I sent him the picture that I showed you. I said, like this one. And as soon as I put the phone down, the muskie hit. I grabbed him, he came up to the surface, and you could see, like that other picture, the fish came up, and I knew it was him. So now, from an anchored situation in a river, and this may not apply to you, but it applies to me, now I know, wait, there's a fish there. Don't reel up real fast and cast again. Hang on. Where I see this for ice fishermen, if you have it, and I told Jeff and Luke already, I'm like, I'm going to go and figure out how I'm going to get that bracket off one of my boats, probably my Lund, because that's put away, and I'm going to make it out of a stick. And I mean, I have a Vexilar, I have a Humminbird ice unit, I've got more junk than my wife even knows. But this is real. Like, this can help me in wherever I'm going to ice fish. And really, I only ice fish just take my kids out, you know. But to them, this is a video game. I was showing them pictures. I don't know, whenever I showed you pictures, my daughter's first fish came from using Panoptics, was like a 3-pound perch. We got lucky on it. But her real first fish was an 8.5-pound lake trout that she jigged, and she played cat and mouse with it because of that. Normally, none of us would have known. Or you're at the traditional Vexilar or whatever, and you see the fish there, but you don't really see I guess if you fish enough, you see the mood of the fish. But this tells you if you swam away and in what direction he went. Could you imagine, like, they're all going that way, go over to the holes over there? I don't know. I personally, I think it's revolutionary. I think it's in its infancy for you guys.
It's definitely, like Chris said, it's in its infancy. We've only had it on the market now for 2 years. In the first year, it was $14.99 for the transom mount version. And then last year, we came out with one that goes in your trolling motor for $9.99, and it's half the size. And as we all know, as technology advances, prices go down. So I'm sure you're going to see the price continue to go down and down and down. But once it gets to the price where you feel it's affordable for you, it's worth every penny. Every penny. Because you will see fish, the actual movement of the fish. You can see them chasing the bait. You know whether to speed up your retrieve, slow it down, change the color. If you know the fish are there, watch them, they're not eating. Give them another presentation and you'll catch them.
That picture. Let's put that JPEG up. So this is how I learned with the Berkeley guys how we were going to use it for making lures.
What angle does that shoot at?
You know what's really cool about this unit is right out of the box, I didn't have to touch anything. The only reason I started playing with angles is because I needed to shoot that way in the river to figure out what's coming up my path. You know, because I mean, we're probably all the same. Just imagine yourself in a trout stream. You know, you think that your lure is kind of getting close to you, just reel it up real fast so you can cast again. We all do it. We all do it in the river. Sometimes I'm 20 feet behind a boat and we start doing it. And I just felt we were missing a lot of fish because this has informed me through the past year and a half of using it that there's a whole nother thing going on than what I thought with all that time on the water that taught me different things. So this is a lake trout pile of rocks here. The red is a pile of rocks, but those are all lake trout. And this is straight out of the box. I didn't touch anything. I didn't go forward or after. I didn't do gains. It's just straight out of the box, plug and play. That blue dot is the knot junction between my fire line and my fluorocarbon leader.
That's
for real.
Detail it shows.
For real. And that's at, what, 20 feet down. The next thing is the lure and then the fish. So that's what my daughter was seeing when she caught her 8.5 pound lake trout. The fish would go back down, she'd drop down, then it was all cat and mouse until it hit. Where this clicked from a product design thought process was I went into a picture like this with a blade bait, and I'll never forget, the water was 51 degrees at the surface, and I went and just did one rip, and a pile of fish about that size, they all took off and went in different directions. Just like someone dropped a bomb and everyone fled, you know? That's what happened. And I'm like, huh, interesting. So then I went to another rock pile across the channel and there was less fish and we did it again. Same thing happened. They all took off. That's telling me they don't like that lure. But 2 days ago, they liked it. So something changed in their world. Then you go to another rock pile and you drop a jig and wrap down. That's why I came out with the Johnny Daughter, because I lose about 100 jig and wraps a year, and they don't give me deals, so it costs a lot of money. But don't tell my company that. So when you drop something down there that's less intrusive to them, and they don't take off, now all of a sudden you're starting to hone in on the pattern for that day. Or if you find that a yellow perch color is not working, but they start swimming over towards a purple color, that's where you're starting to put all the pieces of the puzzle together. I think I would be fair in saying that it's probably 50% of my catch rate's gone up because of it, because I see what's going on. I mean, I literally know, like, these Lakers are here, they're not biting, let's move on. Or if you're getting them to rise and fall, why aren't they striking? What do we have to do differently? So you sit on them and you figure it out. I don't know. That's the first time I ever showed that. And told him I don't show anybody any of this stuff. So, I mean, for a guy on the bass tour, I mean, I wouldn't tell anybody anything, because this is the difference between 100 grand or not.
Exactly. It lets you see what they're doing. It changes your catch ratio so much because you actually know they're there, so you have more confidence. You're going to spend more time trying to catch them, change the color, change the shape. Your retrieve ratio, I mean, you can spend more time on them and you're going to catch more fish, no question.
My buddy calls it cheating. My buddy's 63 years old and he literally calls it cheating. And but it's funny because then I don't bring it out one day, and he's yelling at me like, "Why didn't you bring it out?" Like, you said it's cheating. So anyway, I don't know. I hope that helps you guys. You know, it's definitely, it is revolutionary. I'm standing to that word. You know, whether it's right for you or not, that's your call. But those are the different ways that I see value in using it. I don't know if you can get the motor mount and get that inverted somehow. I don't know if you could, for ice fishing, you probably could.
Yeah, you can make something up. I mean, I'm sure they're working on an ice fishing application now, because it really, for ice fishing, since you're stationary, and you have that thing in the hole, I mean, you're going to see the fish swimming by, you see if they're down there, see if they're coming up, going down. I mean, it's...
Well, and the other side of it is, if you can get that thing down below the ice hole, you can pan it out to the sides to a certain degree. You can't do that with anything else. So you can see what's around you in a circumference for a little bit. And again, like, I'm still trying to figure out the riverboat thing, but 8 feet, 10 feet behind that boat, I saw fish, and I got one to hit. So I'm comfortable with that. That works for me. I could further tweak it, but could you imagine dropping that down a hole and seeing what's around you for 20 feet? You know which hole to go to.
Exactly.
You know? So anyway, I don't know. I hope that helped you guys. So.